All right, good morning, everybody. We got a beautiful day here. Appreciate you all coming out. I'm Jason Bocchino, the Veteran Service Coordinator here at Cape Fear Community College. Welcome to CFCC's annual Veterans Day ceremony. You know, all of us are here to show our gratitude and appreciation to all of our veterans. These type of ceremonies are happening in public all around the country, and our veterans appreciate it. So one other thing, not all veterans enjoy these type of public recognitions. So I'll speak on their behalf, and I want to thank all of you who provide that silent support for those veterans that don't like to be public recognized. So I appreciate all of what you do. For today's ceremony, I'm joined by Cape Fear Community College's president, Mr. Jim Morton. We got Mr. Mac Montgomery, the Headquarters and Support Battalion, Marine Corps Installation East Color Guard. Of course, we got our student veterans here today. Mr. Jonathan Barfield, he's a CFCC trustee and New Hanover County Commissioner. Mr. Phil Garwood, and I'm honored to welcome our guest speaker, Captain United States Coast Guard retired, Mr. Bob Philpott. I now introduce Mr. Mac Montgomery, who's led. Silver Star, Bronze Star, and Purple Heart.
Thank you much. I appreciate it. I don't need to say who I am. Mac Montgomery, and I'm honored to take part in this Veterans Day celebration today. As a country, we've been doing this since 1919, when we started out with Armistice Day to celebrate the end of World War I. And since 1954, we have celebrated Veterans Day as an official United States holiday. So I'm proud to be part of that. And for 70 years now, we've taken this opportunity to honor the women and men who, as members of the armed forces, have given of themselves to serve this country. I'm proud to count myself as part of that. As Jason said, I served in the Army. I enlisted in 1967, served 2 tours in Vietnam, received a direct commission in Vietnam, and served for 24 years before I retired as a lieutenant colonel. I've always appreciated the opportunity that I had to serve with Americans from all walks of life who had one common goal, and that was service. And today, that's who we're here to celebrate, those people. It has special meaning to me to celebrate this here at Cape Fear Community College. I attended a community college before entering the Army. I've worked at 2 community colleges after retiring here in North Carolina. And I have to remind you that Cape Fear Community College serves an essential role to our veterans in furthering their education, as well as having veterans on the staff and the faculty here at the university. Well done to the college. Thank you. My commitment carries over as my family has established 3 endowed scholarships here at Cape Fear Community College, to include one this past year for my wife, who was deceased, Carol. So this commitment to service carries on, and this celebration typifies that. So on behalf of the staff, the faculty, and all veterans, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. And I'd like to turn it back over to you now, Jason. Thank you.
All right, if you are able, would you all please stand and remain standing for the national anthem, the invocation, and Pledge of Allegiance. Now presenting the colors is the Headquarters and Support Battalion, Marine Corps Installations East, United States Marine Corps Color Guard. The invocation will now be given by Honorable Jonathan Barfield, United States Navy veteran, New Hanover County Commissioner, and CFCC trustee.
Good morning. Will you bow your heads with me for a word of prayer? Most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we come on this day, this Veterans Day, to first we bow our heads in humble submission to recognize your deity, that you're the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, that you're the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the ending. You are the Creator, God, the Creator of the heavens and the earth, and the heavens declare your glory, and the earth declares your handiwork. As we celebrate this Veterans Day, we think about Joshua and Gideon, two men that you equipped to fight, to lead armies, to fight for their lands, to fight for their people, just as you've done for the United States of America with our veterans that have served. As we pause and think about our veterans today, Father, we pray that you would bring your healing hand from heaven to earth, that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. As there are many veterans that are suffering from PTSD, from mental illness, from substance use disorder, from missing limbs and broken hearts, that you would touch their physical bodies right now and heal them in the mighty name of who you are. That you let wholeness and peace transcend their bodies, Lord. For those that are serving right now, we thank you. We thank you for every veteran that's a part of our country, for every man and woman that is served. Bless them, keep them, protect them, and make them whole. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Pledge of Allegiance will now be led by Tyler Cady, United States Air Force veteran, emergency management student. To the flag, United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all. Thanks, Tyler. Our introductory remarks will now be given by Mr. Jim Morton, Cape Fear Community College president.
Thank you, Jason. Everyone, please be seated. I'd like to also recognize another board trustee member we have here today is Landy Wilson. He's our vice chair, and along with Mr. Barfield, who's here, is our trustee as well. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It is a privilege as we come together to honor and celebrate our veterans. It is a privilege to stand before you and express my gratitude to the heroic men and women who have served the United States military. Veterans Day is a date of profound significance. It is a time for us to pause, to recognize the selfless dedication, commitment, and sacrifices made by those who have bravely defended our country, the freedom and protected America's way of life. These extraordinary individuals have walked paths that many of us can only imagine. They have done so with honor and integrity, focused on one goal, and it's keeping us safe. At Cape Fear Community College, we are committed to providing opportunities to support for veterans as they transition to civilian life and begin their educational journey. The Veteran Services team at CFCC works tirelessly to ensure that these heroes receive the resources and the assistance they need to excel in their academic pursuits. We are proud to be part of their stories, to help those who have done so much for us. Today, let us remember and honor our veterans who are everywhere around us. They're our neighbors, our friends, family members, students, colleagues, and community leaders. We commend not only their military service, but also their ongoing contributions. Veterans are still working for us long after the tours of duty are over. To all veterans, you are the embodiment of courage, sacrifice, and resilience. We salute you. We appreciate you. We stand by you. Thank you for your service, and may we always strive to be an institution that is worthy of your sacrifice. So thank you, everyone, for being here today. And it's something I always look forward to, and it's a beautiful day to honor the veterans. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Thank you, Mr. Moran. Thank you. Gotta lower it a little bit. In Flanders Field by John McCrae will now be read by Phil Garwood, geology instructor here at Cape Fear, and a lieutenant commander, Royal Canadian Navy, retired. That's the best British I got.
Thank you, Chief. What a beautiful day. I just remember those many, many days up in the North Atlantic in the middle of February. We prayed for days like this, so thank you for giving us this day. In Flanders Fields is a war poem. I have to take off my glasses to read. It's terrible. In the form of a rondo, written during the First World War by a Canadian physicist, Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. He was inspired to write it on May 3rd, 1915, after presiding over the funeral of a friend and fellow soldier, Lieutenant Alex Helmer, who died in the Second Battle of Ypres. It is one of the most quoted poems from the war. Its reference to red poppies that grew over the graves of fallen soldiers resulted in the Remembrance poppy becoming one of the world's most recognized memorial symbols for soldiers who have died in conflict. The poem is also widely known in the United States, where it is associated with Veterans Day and Memorial Day. At the age of 41, McCrae enrolled in the Canadian Expeditionary Force following the outbreak of the First World War. He had the option of joining in the Medical Corps because of his training and age, but like so many men, he volunteered instead to join a fighting unit as a gunner and a medical officer. McCrae fought in the Second Battle of Ypres in the Flanders Field region of Belgium. In Flanders Field by John McCrae. In Flanders Field, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw a sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Field. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands, we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Field. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rock. All right, so now introducing our guest speaker is Andrea Anderson, United States Army veteran, culinary arts student here, and she is a Purple Heart recipient.
I gotta drop it a little lower. Good morning, everybody. Nothing has made me more prouder than being an Army veteran, but Cape Fear has given me the opportunity to grow and be a proud student of this establishment. Cape Fear should be honored to be acknowledged as a veteran-friendly school. Since the moment I separated from the Army, Cape Fear has been there, and the staff of the Veteran Affairs Office has gone above and beyond to make sure that I'm a successful student. It is my pleasure to introduce one of my favorite people and someone that helped change my life. Introducing Mr. Bob, serving the U.S. Coast Guard from 1962 to 1988. And as a retired captain, he has graduated of the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, the U.S. Navy Postgraduate School, the Navy War College, and the Virginia University. He served 8 ships and was the commanding officer of 2 of them. He was awarded the Presidential Award and other service awards. Captain Philpott was an employee of Cape Fear Community College as an adjunct instructor in Dean Vocational and Technical Education and Veteran Service from 1992 to 2014. He was awarded the NC Community College System Administration of the Year. Introducing Mr. Bob Philpott. I want my hug too.
President Morton, thank you for hosting this ceremony. You know, this is a celebration of service, so it's a happy day. We have in the service a lot of things that have happened that could make you have a bad day, but this is a happy day. Members of the Board of Trustees, thank you for your service to our college. And I would say this to you, Jonathan, you've been to as many of these ceremonies as I have. Thank you for your service to the college and to the community and to the United States Navy. I'd also want to say thank you to Colonel Chrissy Morton from MOA. MOA is a military officers association that has been very instrumental in helping our students. Colonel, your scholarships speaks to your commitment to our students too. I'm probably going to go off script a little bit because I'm not good at staying on script. Since it is a celebration, I would like, if you were a veteran of any of the services, just to raise your hand so we can see who you're all here. And what I want everybody to do is say, thank you. Next, you know, the veterans are in the service, but their families are in the service too. So if you are a mom or a dad, a brother or sister, a cousin, a child, a grandchild of a member of this service, raise your hand. I want to give them all a thanks. I would also like to give a special shout out to the faculty and staff of this community college. If you are a member of the faculty and staff, raise your hands. Because your hard work and your dedication and your willingness to give of yourselves to our students have made this, and although I may be prejudiced, it's true, the best community college in the state of North Carolina. There's no question. Anybody who has served knows that the backbone of all the services are the senior enlisted people. It's true in the Coast Guard, and those are the chief petty officers. So one of the first things you learn when you join the Coast Guard, and I'm sure it's true again for all the services, if you got a question, need some guidance, or you need a boost in your morale, or maybe a boost in your backside to get the job done, is ask the chief. We have a chief. So when Jason asked me to speak, I said, the first thing I learned is what I'm going to do right now. Chief, what do you want me to talk about? And he said, well, I'd like you to mention some of the things about history that maybe the college would like to know and the students. Tell us a little bit about your time in the Coast Guard, how the Veterans Center got started, and maybe tell the students why this is important. So here goes, my Coast Guard journey. I was 17, I raised my hand, I took an oath, and the oath was to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. It's the same oath that we all took, all veterans took. It was the same oath my grandfather took when he joined the Army in World War I. It was the same oath my son took when he joined the Coast Guard, and it was the same oath all my relatives took in between in pretty much every conflict that happened. I served on 8 ships, as was mentioned. I was commanding officer of 2 of them, which was a singular honor. So what does the Coast Guard do? Well, the ships do all kinds of things. First ship was a polar icebreaker, deployment to Antarctica, and got back after 9 months and then went to the waters off of Siberia for oceanographic studies off of Siberia. We do fisheries enforcement, trying to protect the stocks that feed our nation and, in fact, the world. We work with the Army, the Navy, and the Marines. We do the interdiction of drugs, which is a scourge on our country. But the most rewarding and at the same time the most heartbreaking is search and rescue. So people say, well, tell me a sea story, tell me what it was like. So I'll give you a couple of anecdotes. Uh, some of these are pleasant, some of them are very unpleasant, but these are my memories. I remember being in the hold of a Japanese fishing vessel. It was about 30 degrees below zero, and we had to check for species they shouldn't catch. And I was down there and was surrounded by frozen tuna fish stacked from the deck to the overhead. Those are nautical terms, Chief, you can explain later. And they're stacked like cordwood. So I'm down there digging around looking for some species. And the next thing I heard something, and it's this 400-pound tuna fish came tumbling down and pinned me to the bulkhead. I said to myself, boy, when my kids find out that their dad was mashed by a tuna fish, I thought this would be a story to end all stories. So in revenge, I eat as many tuna fish sandwiches as I can. I remember with a team of 5 of my sailors going on board a suspected smuggler, drug smuggler, in the middle of the night. The first one I went on, and it, for some reason it always happens at night, we came alongside, told my guys, okay, guys, the main thing is we want to be safe and secure and do our job. Now, these men at that time, now they're men and women, were 18, 19, 20 years old. And you say, well, are they ready for this? By God, yes. They were terrific. We scrambled our board, took care of our duties, and everybody got back safe, including the people on that boat. But some of the things are just tough to remember, and they stick with you. I remember, again, in the middle of the night, myself and our senior corpsman, every corpsman in the Coast Guard is called Doc, went on board our small boat because we saw a boat that seemed to be awash and somebody was trying to signal to us. We got to the boat and Doc Walker and I performed CPR on a 2-year-old child until it became too late. Enraged at the father who took his family out on the boat to go fishing with no PFD, not knowing how to do CPR, he lost his son and his wife the same night. We recovered her body the next day. That's part of the Coast Guard. Like I said, is the most rewarding, at the same time, most heartbreaking. And it was a 26-year journey, but it was really a good one for me. A couple of pieces of history. How did this ceremony get started? In the early 90s at our college council, which met once a week, 2 students came and asked if they could speak to the council. We said, sure. They're both veterans of the United States Marine Corps. And by the way, for all you Marines, happy birthday tomorrow. And they said, how come this college doesn't do something to celebrate our veterans? And we said, duh. So that was the beginning. And every year since, we've had this wonderful ceremony, which in my opinion is one of the best in the city of Wilmington. Part 2 of history, the Veterans Center. When I left the Coast Guard, I didn't think I'd ever find anything that would be as meaningful to me as my service in the Coast Guard. And in fact, I did work in industry for a couple of years, and that was awful. The lack of integrity, the lack of any esprit de corps, it's just something I couldn't deal with. So I started teaching here. And then I was fortunate enough to become a dean. And as I talked to our faculty and our students, and I realized, as you all already did, that this college is a change agent in people's lives. We give people the skills to improve their lives and their families' lives. We give people the skills that can make a community strong. At first, we had an informal group of veterans who were on the faculty and staff, and we tried to steer any veteran to them if they had questions, but it wasn't enough. We started experiencing huge numbers of students coming back from some of the conflicts in the Middle East. They came in needing all kinds of help. We're fortunate at that time that we had a person here that tried to deal with it all and all the other things she had to do, and that was Rachel Kavanaugh as a person who took care of their trying to get their benefits through the VA. And if you've ever worked for the VA, you know what a struggle that can be. Since we don't suffer from something institutionally called paralysis by analysis, we said we got to do more. So we cleared out a storeroom, and our wonderful maintenance staff built the Veterans Center, which was 2 little offices, some tables, a couple of chairs, and the all-important coffee mess. If you build it, they will come. There were 2 little offices there, one for Rachel, one for me. We soon realized that the whole country did realize that there was a scourge affecting our veterans. The VA was not prepared, in my opinion, for the numbers and the kind of difficulties our veterans faced as they were coming back. And there was a scourge of suicide among the veterans. One of the things that we knew and hoped for was once we had a facility where the veterans could be together, veterans helping veterans was the strongest thing they could do. And that worked out good. They knew that people like Rachel would have their back if they had any questions and any problems. Now, is this a job? It wasn't a job. I was there when Rachel Kavanaugh was sitting in a hotel room with a young veteran on suicide watch, telling him he was going to be okay, reassuring him that people cared for him and that he was going to be fine. And thank God he was. I would say to anybody that this Veterans Center has saved lives. It is a success because of the veterans. It's a success because of the 100% support from the administration that continues today. It was a success because of people like Rachel Kavanaugh. It was a success because the administration at every level helped these student veterans. It was a success because our foundation stepped up to the plate. If somebody needed something as simple as, I don't have any money, I got a flat tire, I got to go to work, I got to go to class, somehow they found some way to help them. It was a success because we took some creative ways to help the veterans. Something that I think of that was a tremendous thing was something we called the Story Force writings that was brought forward to the table from our English department. And to this day, faculty like Laura Moore, who's there all the time helping students do their writing. If you haven't seen one, there's some on the table over there. This gave the students a voice that could say, this is what I did. And I know Andrea has a great article in one of them. Laura has one too. But it is an important vehicle to show the veterans that we all care, we want to hear their story, and we want to support them. So what's my message to our veterans? You know, when you were in the service, you learned resilience, you learned teamwork, you learned how to tough it out, and you brought that to us. And those assets are important to us in our college. When you came here, we tried to give you those skills that you would need to improve your life and your family's life. Because you're going to be the nurses, the electricians, you're going to be the people who are going on to advanced education, you're going to be the teachers, you're going to be the entrepreneurs, you're going to be the people that make up a community. A community is made up of the people with the kind of skills that you are going to leave here with. And if you look at the track record of our graduates, you can see some of them here today. I think Ray's out here, who's a member of the Sheriff's Department. We've got guys like people who I've worked with, like Andrea, Sam, Jesse, Ray. I mean, there's so many of them that their names, you know, at my age, I forget what I had for breakfast sometimes, but there is just so many that have honored our college and honored our community, because the community is made up of people. And I am optimistic about our future because the kind of people that are gaining these skills that are in our community, the nurses, the EMTs, the police officers, the firemen, the trades, and the people are going to get their teaching degrees, the people are going to become business people. They are the strength of our community. And my optimism is such that because of what you brought to this community as a veteran and from the skills that you've developed, we're going to be strong. A strong community builds a strong country. The United States is in good hands as you step forward. In spite of it all, sometimes in the Veterans Center, it was not a sad place. There was a lot of humor. Some of the humor, frankly, was not safe for work, but that laughter was really a sign of healing. And I think that was something that we were very proud of too. So what I'm going to say in closing is, over 60 years ago, I took that oath to support and defend the Constitution. You took that oath to support the Constitution. And we have joined with a bond together for all those veterans that went back through history to today and through tomorrow. And that will tie us together for the rest of our lives. And I am proud to be a member of that group. So thank you for letting me come and speak to you today. God bless you all. God bless our veterans. God bless our community, and God bless America. Whoa.
Thank you, Bob. Wow. Rachel, don't cry. Sorry. All right. Reading a poem called I Am a Veteran by Andrea Christensen Brett is a student veteran, Steve Kim, the United States Army. Come on.
May not know me the first time we meet. I'm just another you see on the street. But I'm the reason you walk and breathe free. I'm the reason for your liberty. I'm a veteran. I work in the local factory all day. I own the restaurant just down the way. I sell your insurance. I start your IV. I've got the best looking grandkids you'll ever see. I'm your grocer, your banker, your child's school teacher. I'm your plumber, your barber, your family's preacher. But there's a part of me you don't know very well. Just listen a moment. I have a story to tell. I'm a veteran. I joined the service while still in my teens. I traded my prom dress for camouflage greens. I'm the first in my family to do something like this. I followed my father like he followed his. Defying my fears and hiding my doubt, I married my sweetheart before I shipped out. I missed Christmas, then Easter, the birth of my son. But I knew I was doing what had to be done. I served on the battlefront. I served on the base. I bound up the wounded and begged for God's grace. I gave orders to fire. I followed commands. I marched into conflict in far distant lands. In the jungle, the desert, on mountains and shore. In bunkers, in tents, on dank earthen floors. While I fought on the ground, in the air, on the sea, my family and friends were home praying for me. For the land of the free and the home of the brave, I faced my demons in foxholes and caves. Then one dreaded day, without drummer or fife, I lost an arm. My buddy lost his life. I came home and moved on, but forever was changed. The perils of war in my memory remain. I don't really say much. I don't feel like I can. But I left home a child and came home a man. There are thousands like me, thousands more who are gone, but their legacy lives as time marches on. White crosses in rows and names carved in queue remind us of what these brave souls had to do. I'm part of a fellowship, a strong, mighty band of each man and each woman who has served this great land. And when Old Glory waves, I stand proud. I stand tall. I helped keep her flying over you, over all. I am a veteran.
Thanks, Steve. All right, our nation's service hymns will be introduced by Andrea Anderson.
You want them to stand? Then a DJ. Army, please stand. Navy, please stand. Can the Coast Guard please stand? Air Force, please stand. Marine Corps, please stand. Space Force, please stand. You got that. Go Army.
2 semesters ago, we did have a guy from the Space Force, so we did have somebody here. All right. So now I want to welcome Miss Chrissy Sanford. She's a Colonel, United States Army, retired, and Tim Johnson, Captain, United States Marine Corps Reserve. They are from the Southeastern North Carolina chapter of the Military Officers Association, and they are here to present some scholarships to some of our deserving student veterans.
It's wonderful just seeing everybody here today. For the veterans, thank you for your service. I know you think after a while that sounds trite, but I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. But the ones I want to especially thank are the families, because y'all are the ones that served right along with us, and y'all are the ones that take care of the home front. And we could not do our job if we didn't have your support and love and you taking care of things at home. And again, if your families are taken care of by the ones left at home, we can do our job better. So again, I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are the backbone of the military. So we're going to present some scholarships today. I'm going to just give you a little background on what the scholarships are. I'm from the Senklin MOA, Military Officers Association of America. We've been doing scholarships for about 6 years now. And what we do, the scholarships go to deserving students at UNCW, Cape Fear Community College, and Brunswick Community College. And what we do is we work closely with the military coordinators at the different schools, and they're the ones that are instrumental in finding the veterans that qualify, that have the requirements to receive the scholarships. So we have two that are given out. We have one that is from our organization itself, and that is based on member donations and donations from the community. And then the second one is from Jim Carper. Jim Carper was a brigadier general in the United States Army National Guard. He passed away suddenly a couple of years ago. And so we have established a scholarship in his name, in his memory. And we're hoping that when we hand this one out, that we're able to give it to somebody either from the National Guard, the Reserves, or the Army. Not that nobody else can receive it, you can, but we really like to try to focus there because that was one of the criteria that we had when we brought up the Jim Carper scholarship. I would also like to introduce Alan. Alan is going to be the president coming in and the first of the year, and he's a Navy captain, and we're thrilled that he could be with us today. So what we're going to do is we'll call the names, and then Tim has the presentations. The money has been donated. The money has been given to the foundation, the Cape Fear Community College Foundation. And so they in turn will then dole out the amount of money that you get for the scholarship. And again, use for tuition, books, fees, whatever it is that we all incur when we went to school. So
First name Colin Bennett. Yeah. Cody Pudcomer.
we have a few more scholarships to hand out, but the students are not here today from other obligations. So again, congratulations to the recipients, congratulations to the veterans, and congratulations to the families.
Chrissy, thank you. The other three that received this scholarship are Ian Appling, United States Air Force veteran and the associate's degree in nursing. Chase Siegman, U.S. Navy veteran. He's also in the nursing degree program. And Charlie Small, she's in the nursing degree program, and she's from Army National Guard. They're all doing clinicals today, so they're all busy. And there was no getting out of it. None of them were Marines. So now it's my honor, my pleasure to introduce our student guest speaker, is Mr. Tom Herdman. He's working on his associate in science. He's a veteran of the United States Marine Corps and the United States Army. And he also serves as our Student Veteran Organization president. All right, Tom.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here. My name is Thomas Herdman. I'm the president of the Cape Fear Community College Student Veterans Organization, and it's my honor to speak to you all today. I want to thank Mr. Bacchino, Mr. Philpott. Mr. Philpott, it's going to be tough to follow you up. That was fantastic, sir. Yeah, no pressure on me. President Morton, all the distinguished guests, and all the faculty and students who put this meaningful ceremony together. Also, Marines, thank you for being here. What's tomorrow? Marine Corps birthday. Semper Fidelis, Marines. Thank you for being here. This Veterans Day, let's celebrate what we can accomplish when we come together. Let's recognize that service doesn't end in the military, and that thank you is just the beginning of gratitude. You being here today tells me you're willing to go further. We'll always have our service to look back on fondly, but there is a life after the military. The determination and motivation of my fellow student veterans has inspired me to be the best that I can be. I'm grateful for all the friends from all the branches and all components of the military that I have here. As I look into this crowd, I see many student veterans who are working towards a better life for themselves and their families. I see future firefighters, future nurses, businessmen and women, social workers, teachers, many other great professions where we can continue to serve our communities and continue to be valuable members of society. Many of us are pursuing radically different careers than what we did in the military. We're not heading to Stone Bay at 4 a.m. anymore to get to the rifle range on time, or heading to Sicily Drop Zone for a 6 a.m. jump to start out the day. No, we have MARSOC operators working to become teachers, artillery specialists becoming radiography technicians, combat engineers working to become IT specialists. I'll admit, my time in the infantry did not exactly prepare me for a career in accounting. But the discipline and work ethic that we all developed in service is enough, in my opinion, for us to accomplish the goals that we set our sights to. As student veterans, we are older than the average college student. Some of us carry physical as well as invisible injuries from our time in service. Many of us have spouses, children of our own, and numerous other responsibilities as we juggle the challenges that life throws at us, as well as being students. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the families who have helped shoulder the weight of service and burdens of sacrifice, and who continue to do so as we transition into different careers. To the mothers, fathers, spouses, and children of our student veterans, thank you. College's Veteran Center has positively influenced me and prompted myself and others to stay driven and remain on the path to advancing the greater accomplishments. The Veteran Center offers tutoring, counseling, and most importantly is a place where we go for fellowship and camaraderie. There are many programs that student veterans are not aware of. Recreational events to go for free. I went golfing. I'm not going to disclose my score, but Colin, thank you for your patience as I struggle to find the green. The Veteran Center is led by Jason Bacchino. You've all met him, Chief Bacchino. He's the college's student veterans coordinator and a prior Navy chief. Jason mentors, advises, and counsels students as they transition from the military to greater things. We have some veterans who lose their sense of purpose when they take off the uniform. Jason's created an environment that promotes camaraderie and provides students with clear goals and a strong support system. Maintaining a modicum of physical fitness is not something all veterans do. I'll be the first to admit. I haven't been waking up at 4 a.m. to run 5 miles or go on a 15K hike. No, I've been enjoying the freedom to eat a lot of pizza, cheeseburgers, and then skip the gym. I think Jason realized this, and in turn, he got me a free pass to Access Fitness. Free class is led by personal trainers. It's fantastic. In addition to helping me find the motivation to stay physically fit, he's done all he can to help me transition to a premier college after my time here at Cape Fear. He's unwavering in his dedication to the college's veterans and is someone that truly does all he can to support and advocate for us. Jason, on behalf of the student veteran population, thank you for all you do. We are grateful. As I conclude, I implore all veterans to remember why they joined in the first place and to continue to live by those values in our lives after service. Like it or not, we all represent the military and our respective branch or branches, even after taking off the uniform. We owe it to all the great people who served before us and all the current service members to not tarnish their legacy. We're thankful for all the college has done to support us and make us feel at home as we transition to the civilian sector. Thank you all for being here. God bless, and happy Veterans Day.
Thank you, Tom. You didn't have to say all that. Thanks. All right. Color guard, post the colors. Mr. Barfield will now give the benediction.
What a beautiful day. What a beautiful ceremony. Will you bow your heads once again? Dear Heavenly Father, as we come to the close of this Veterans Day program, we thank you for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your ever-loving hand guiding our country. We thank you for providing the veterans that serve in our military and for protecting our freedoms. We give you all praise, honor, and glory. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
That concludes our ceremony. Thank you all for attending this event. Appreciate it all. There'll be lunch and cake in the Bob Philpott Veterans Center over in Union Station. Please join us, and thank you.